All right, today we're going to have some fun with a classic brain teaser. It might look like a simple math problem, but as you'll see, there are a couple of really cool ways to solve it. So let's dive in and break it down together.
Okay, so here's the deal. Joe has this box of toy animals, a mix of ducks and goats, and he tells us two things. There are 30 heads in total, and there are 80 legs. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to figure out just one thing. How many of those toys are ducks?
And here they are, our two culprits, if you will. We've got the duck with its 2 legs and the goat with its 4 legs. That's it. Every single animal in that box is one of these two. First up, let's try to crack this case without touching any algebra. No x's, no y's. We're just going to use pure, simple logic. Think of it like we're detectives trying to solve the case of the extra legs. So the first big clue? The heads. See, every animal has just one head, right? Doesn't matter if it's a duck or a goat. So 30 heads, well, that's a dead giveaway. It means we have exactly 30 animals in that box. Easy enough. So here's our game plan. It's a bit clever. We're going to start by making an assumption that we know is probably wrong. Then we'll see just how wrong we are, and that little difference, well, that's going to lead us straight to the right answer. Let's start with step 1. Okay, let's just pretend for a second. Imagine every single one of those 30 animals is a duck. Well, each duck has 2 legs, so 30 animals times 2 legs apiece, that gives us a grand total of 60 legs. But wait a minute. Here's the twist. Our little calculation gives us 60 legs, but the riddle says there are 80. There's a gap, and that gap is everything. It's the key to solving the whole puzzle. So let's do the math. 80 minus 60, that's 20. We have 20 extra legs that we need to account for. Now, the big question is, where in the world did they come from? And where do you think those 20 extra legs came from? You guessed it, the goats. Our assumption that every animal was a duck was wrong, and each goat we have in the mix is what's throwing our count off. And this is really the core idea right here. See, we based our first count on every animal having 2 legs, but a goat has 4. So every time you swap out one of our imaginary ducks for a real goat, you're adding 2 extra legs to the total. So the math from here is actually pretty simple. We have 20 extra legs to explain. Since each goat is responsible for 2 of those extra legs, well, you just divide 20 by 2. Boom. That tells us there have to be exactly 10 goats. And now we just put the final piece of the puzzle in place. We started with 30 animals total. We've just proven that 10 of them are goats. So what's left? Yup, 20 ducks. And there you have it. Case closed. Just by using a little bit of clever thinking, we found our answer. Joe has 20 ducks in his collection. You know, that logical method was pretty satisfying, right? But it kind of makes you wonder, is there a more, formal way to do this? Like, what would they have taught you in math class? So let's do just that. Let's explore a second method. This isn't about which way is better. It's about adding another really powerful tool to your problem-solving toolkit. Let's talk algebra. Okay, first things first in algebra, we need variables. Let's keep it simple. We'll use D to represent the number of ducks we're trying to find, and we'll use G for the number of goats. With those variables, we can basically translate the riddle directly into 2 math equations. The first one is for the heads. The number of ducks plus the number of goats has to equal 30. The second one is for the legs. 2 legs for every duck plus 4 legs for every goat has to add up to 80. Now for the fun part. We can solve this system. By rearranging that first equation and then plugging it into the second one, we're left with just one thing to solve for, G. And when you work it out, guess what? G, our number of goats, is 10, exactly what we found before. And once you know there are 10 goats, the rest is easy. Plug that number back into our simple heads equation. 30 total animals, take away the 10 goats, and you're left with 20 ducks. The exact same answer. So how about that? We locked down 2 totally different paths. One was all intuitive, the other was super formal, and we landed in the exact same spot. It really brings up the question, right? Which method is actually better? Well, the truth is there's no single better method. They're just different tools. The logic approach, that's creative and intuitive, perfect for a clever solution on the fly. Algebra, on the other hand, is systematic and powerful. It's a reliable system that can solve this problem and a whole lot of more complex ones too.
So at the end of the day, the best method is simply the one that clicks for you. Whether you think visually about extra legs or formally with equations, the real goal isn't just getting the answer, it's understanding why it's the answer. So now you've got two powerful ways to tackle a problem like this. The only question left is, what other puzzles out there are you going to solve with this kind of thinking? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.